Hello there, and welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling on YouTube. I'm George. I'm joined by Steve. In just a few seconds, we've got a fun show coming up. We're going to make some sense of last night's Monday Night Raw. Interesting show, very controversial. There's a lot of things kind of going on with it where we're kind of questioning what's going to happen. Just simply kind of going into this now. So, obviously, for anyone joining us first time, new and old viewers, we hope you enjoy the show. We hope you sort of get involved in the comments. Let us know your opinion and views. We'll just kind of get into it. So, before we get into the show, Steve, how are you today?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's obviously coming off of an interesting week kind of last week. Be interested to see kind of what happens with this show and stuff like that.
A mixed bag of emotions, this one.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of a hard one to kind of digest. There's a lot of... I've asked generally consensus people before we go into it online of what they thought of it. I thought it was one of the worst ones of the year, but people are sort of saying it's okay. So fair play to anybody that can find a positive in this show. There is one positive I found, but let's get into it then. So obviously the show opens up. We've got sort of similar from kind of last week, really. We're starting off with Braun Strowman facing Mason T-Bar. My initial thoughts for this, when they come out, Mason T-Bar come out, the minute I saw it's still the same crappy names, still the original music from Retribution, I just thought, what the hell are they doing? I was so frustrated. It's a small thing that could kind of change something, yet they're lazy with the change. It's not done wholeheartedly. What do you think of the intro and stuff?
Oh man, the picture-in-picture promo where they're banging on about extinction of animals again. I'm like, really? What is this, man? Like, I didn't watch nothing last night. Normally, I'm up till late, and I normally catch the start of Raw, but I didn't stay up last night. And then I put it on today, and I was like, what is this, man? What am I preparing myself for?
You stayed up live?
No, I said I nearly did. Like I'm normally up till about 1 o'clock before I go to bed, and so I normally sort of catch the start of Raw and like sort of get a feel of how it's going to go. But last night I went to bed earlier last night, and I'm glad because Jesus Christ, if I'd have seen that at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd have probably blown my brains out or something. It Definitely was bad.
So let's get into the match then. So the match is okay. It's not too bad. Doesn't go very long. It ends up with Braun Strowman getting the win by disqualification. We then end up with Drew McIntyre kind of running out. He looks like he's obviously going to make the save. That sort of carries on. We then get match 2. So there's a second match on the trot. We're carrying on sort of double duty again. It's Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre facing T-Bar and Mace. This one, nothing particularly great. It just carried on what we've seen in the recent weeks. Obviously, for the last 4 weeks, we've kind of seen this continual storyline with Braun or Drew facing the old Retribution members. What did you think of match 2? It's not good, man. There's no positive way to put a good spin on this. I just don't think it was entertaining at all. I mean, I will point out one thing. Obviously, when Drew does that Glasgow kiss, I was sat there for, oh man, I really miss Samoa Joe when he used to scream out that "give us a kiss." It was the first thing I noticed. And then, yeah, man, I just wasn't entertained by it. And then obviously they've lost the whole train noises now as he runs around the side of the ring. But yeah, and then obviously it ends in a count out. And I was like, so hang on a minute, that's what, 3 DQs out of 4 matches these guys have had, and 1 count out. I was like, oh man, this is bad. And then at the end of it, I went after Braun obviously drops a power slam on Drew. Or I can't remember when it just, but obviously Braun cuts a promo and he's like, oh, I only came out here to help you. And it's like, hang on a minute, you were in the match. Drew came out to help you. And I was like, oh my God, this is bad. This is really bad, man. Okay, so let's look at it. So this is meant to be a way to get this new Retribution team over. The danger you've got is 2 of these components are obviously going to be in the main event at WrestleMania Backlash. So it's a dangerous thing to do. The DQ finish didn't really do anything for sort of Mason T-Bar, but for me, I thought, all right, we've seen this. This is deja vu. This sort of felt like last week, but I just didn't think it did anything for anybody, really. I just think it's just one of them kind of things. Do you want to move forward, or do you have anything else you want to add?
No, there was just a slight bit after. You know, obviously, when it comes back and who was it? It's Braun, I think. Braun's looking for Pierce or something backstage, and he goes, one of them's like, I want to match with the other one tonight. And it was like, Pierce won't let him do a handicap match, but he'll let him wrestle twice in a night. And I'm like, what's this about, man? Why is this inaccurate booking with Pierce now? Yeah,
Pierce is a bit questionable to say.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you can't do a handicap match. No. But if you want to wrestle twice in the night, yes. It's just, what is this? What is going on with this show, man?
I'm going to get to the comments. We've got quite a backlog of comments. Thank you, everybody, for your comments so far. I'll go to them. Let's go to them now. So, SCW, the Wrestling Channel. Good afternoon, Steve. What's up, guys? Good afternoon to you, Steve. Thank you for checking the video. I hope all's well, brother. Tom Colhu, thank you, Tom, for the comment. I hope you're well as well. Great to checking out the video.
Don Mills with the crucial point of the whole show. RKBro, yeah, 100%. Good afternoon to you, Dom. Thank you for checking out the stream. Also, the almighty CR21. Thank you for your comment. I enjoyed the final round. The rest was mad. Mandy Rose with Charlotte was a solid match. Mandy got better, and Braun was doing good first time ever. Yeah, fair points. I'm also going to kind of move forward with this then. So obviously, we then had this sort of. It's almost like a segment. We've got almost a Miz TV talk show. We've got Elias Jackson Wyker, John Morrison back in the Miz. This was almost like a dream segment, and it was almost like a concert. For me,
MTV Unplugged, I got the impression, is what we were supposed to be getting here.
It was the a cappella and all this sort of instrumental version of the hit from WrestleMania. For me, this is another one where I've got an issue. They're going on about Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny left weeks ago. He's not doing anything. He's not there anymore. He's not going to be at WrestleMania Backlash. Why are you going on about Bad Bunny now? And it really frustrates me. It's really, really stupid booking. What do you think of the segment before we go into what happened next again with the match?
There was only one funny segment, and that was the fact that when they started introducing themselves, Riker introduced himself as DJ Rizzy. I was dying. I was like, yes,
it's comedy. It's good for comedy.
Yeah. I was like, that's the best part, man. But the rest of it is just like, man, it's the same segment the third week or second week in a row, or wherever long. So I'm bored of seeing this stuff, man. Do something different. Even do what was the one Miz and Morrison used to do? The back when previously with
the dirt sheet, wasn't it?
The dirt sheet, that. Why has it got to be the Miz TV stuff, man? Do something different. Just change it up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's hope so. So obviously, interesting. So they had this obviously segment. It ends up kind of going on a bit. Damian Priest then turns up to interrupt it with a New Day. They're out there with some sort of violin case. Next thing you know, they're chucking tomatoes. So it's not slime this week; it's tomatoes. A bit like a medieval pantomime type thing. I just thought, okay, yeah, this is just not for me, really. What did you think of the tomato chucking?
1 second, I just want to find a reference.
That's fine.
But yeah, the whole point was like throwing tomatoes, and this is it. Yeah, so it's like they're throwing tomatoes. Obviously, Xavier comes out with that giant guitar case, and I'm like, what is he supposed to be from Desperado? That's the reference I was looking for, was the film. And then they start throwing these tomatoes, and it was like, this was bad. It's like, what are we living in the 1800s? Are these people in stocks and having rotten fruit and vegetable thrown at them? It was a joke, man. The only good part about it was when they come back, they show a slow motion replay that Morrison copped a tomato in between his legs, and then someone managed to lick Miz around the head with one. That was the best part about it.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, so going to go to the comments. We've got some great ones here again, so let's just go to them. The Almighty CR, justice for the tomatoes. I agree. That's probably there. Definitely, that's probably where the budget's gone for a while. But no, definitely. And Martin Carrillo, thoughts on Dominic Dijakovic, Dear Madden's debut match. That was amazing. It was okay. The thing is, no one said they're bad wrestlers. Like Mace is a bit green.
It's just the finish.
Dominic Dijakovic, he's a great talent in NXT. He was really, really good till he got called up. If they drop these silly names, and they drop the face paint, they're a bit like a Poundland or bargain store version of Demolition. You know what I mean? Are they going to be the Essential, or are they going to be their own wrestlers? That's kind of what I've got to say for that.
Yeah, so it's just a shame, man, because everyone knows Dijakovic's a really good wrestler. Oh yeah, like you said, Dio's a bit green, but when in the last 2 weeks when they've come in and they've jumped Drew and they've done this like double team chokeslam finish or whatever it is, they've looked really powerful, and it's just you're just putting them in this pointless feud to lead to a storyline that doesn't even involve them.
No, we'll go into them. We'll speak to them later. We'll speak about them towards the end of the show again. So, going to quickly kind of go to sort of the next part of the show then. So, we obviously had this 6-man tag. So, we've got the New Day and Damian Priest facing Miz and Jackson Ryker and Elias. No Maurice this week, noticingly. Going to this one. So, this one was okay. Crucially, we do get Kofi Kingston getting sort of knocking Elias off the ropes, and Woods then gets inside cradle with a finish. For me, the babyfaces get the win. I'm okay with that. I don't really mind that. I just think it was the wrong person picking up the win here. I think Damian Priest was the one that needed to get the pin. And for me, I don't know what they're doing with him. They need to really get him away from the Miz, because I think he did some great work with the Miz at WrestleMania, but they really need to get Damian Priest out on his own away from this kind of nonsense that's going on. What do you think of the match?
The match was, for me, was a tale of two halves, because before the commercial break, this match was bad and botchy, but as soon as they come back, it just seemed to all click for them. Like before the break, you had a point where, for some reason, Elias has got in the ring, but no one's made a tag, so he's had to get back out again. Then there's a point where Priest has made a tag to Kofi, but no one knows who's taking who over the top row. But it was botchy in certain places. But then, say, completely different match when you come back from the commercial break. It was almost a pay-per-view level match. Loads of near falls, close finishes. Yeah, it was really worked. But it was just really strange. Two dynamics. One half of the commercial break.
I think it was the good positive to this is it got them all on camera, which is good. To give them all some time. I don't know where this is obviously leading, but the fact that this is most of your tag teams on the division, maybe largely, I think it's an interesting choice. So have you got any information on that before we go forward to the next?
Go for it, man. It's just obviously, go for it. Yeah, like there was a network exclusive after with the New Day and Priest, but it was just pointless. Again, it was just hype video, nothing much special to it.
This next part is really, really interesting. I actually really enjoyed this next part. So we got like Charlotte Flair there with Sonya Deville. Really interesting to see sort of Sonya Deville. Obviously, normally on SmackDown, coming to Raw. It ends up sort of with her there. Interesting sort of creates intrigue. It does end up with sort of them going to the ringside. We do end up with the referee there from last week, Eddie Orengo. And obviously Sonya Deville. It says that Charlotte's paid a fee. She wants to apologise to Eddie. And obviously it's just a way to get her rehired. I really liked sort of it. I thought it was quite good. They had to explain what happened last week, which was good. And I'm just interested to see kind of where let's go. What was your taking kind of from the segment?
My only issue with it was why did Sonya Deville bring her in for a fire exit backstage? Like, if you're going to bring her out anyway, so why didn't you just bring her into the building? I don't know why unnecessarily you've got Charlotte coming for a fire exit.
She's going behind Adam Pearce's back. That's the only thing I think logically. She's going behind Adam Pearce's back.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was the only thing that I sort of niggled at. But no, otherwise, the rest of it was great. The fact that Charlotte emphasized the point that she manhandled the referee. And the fact that when he apologized, she said, "Good boy," and I was like, "Damn!" Man, Charlotte's doing some great work here. And the other thing as well is she's not doing no woos and she's not doing no Flair taunts, which is perfect because I'm not being funny. She's been stereotyped for so long as Ric Flair's daughter that she needs to be pushed away from it. She needs to be her own character now. She needs to stop being the daughter of Ric Flair. She needs to be Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I've got kind of one last thing to say. That's a great analysis you got, obviously, on that point as well. And what's interesting enough is the whole dynamic, really, that's going on with kind of Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, where this is kind of going. This has obviously been teasing for a while. It really took a gear up this kind of week, if that makes sense. So I'm interested to see what the payoff is. Clearly, somebody's in charge of them, whether that be Shane McMahon or somebody. I think the overall story arc, I believe, would be she wants to take over Raw. That's what I think. And I think they just want to get Adam Pearce sort of away from it. But I'm interested to see how that plays up. I think it was great to see them sort of having that reaction to each other when he found out that she was rehired, basically. What do you think?
The whole going behind her back, this is great work for Sonya Deville because I'm not being funny, she looks amazing in suits. She looks like an authority figure, man. She's going to be great. And so whether this leads to, I don't know, a storyline where Pierce loses his job or whatever because of Sonya Deville, just to push him more backstage so he's not on the screen so much, and having Sonya as a main sort of figurehead, this would be great for her.
Yeah, we then obviously had Adam Pearce. He's obviously backstage. He basically says that there's going to be a match for tonight. It's going to be Braun versus Drew. If Braun wins, he'll get added to the triple threat of WrestleMania Backlash. I thought it was interesting segment. I think it's a great way to announce your main event. I guess you're creating some sort of interest at that point. Did you enjoy this segment?
Yeah, it was all right. Just one minor detail was just the fact that Braun turns around and is like, "Oh, do you have to ask Sonya first?" And it was like, let's be honest, it's the first time Sonya's ever done anything, and you're kind of sort of building it like this is a regular occurrence with Sonya Deville. Only slight niggle, but otherwise, it was good. As I said, it adds to the show, really. I say it's good to see Braun actually get some decent screen time where he's not being mocked like Drew does at the start of the night. Again,
Drew's getting over the top.
He starts talking to him like he's an idiot again, like he did last week, and it's just like this isn't your character. Why are you doing this?
Before we go to the sort of forward with the show, I'm going to go to the comments. Got quite a few here. SCW The Wrestling Channel. The segment's rating from me was 5 Rotten Tomatoes. That's the opening of the show, definitely. Got a good one here from Noob Cole. Good afternoon, Noob. Thank you for your comment. It's very terrible idea. Way worse than the dog food. That's the tomatoes again. Martin Carrillo, thank you for your comment, Martin. Thank you for checking the video. When Raw becomes a food fight, it's a Raw to remember, 100%.
They've just brought catering onto the show instead now.
Definitely. Got a good one here from Tom Collihu. Priest vs. Sheamus, the obvious next step for me. Miz and Priest just need to get away from each other now. I'd be a fan of that. I think definitely Priest and Sheamus could be great.
Yeah.
And one from Cena Nation Dog. Jonesy Chats Wrestling. Hi, good afternoon to you, Cena Nation Dog. Thank you for checking out the video. I hope you enjoy it. So let's kind of move forward then with the show. So we obviously had this Sheamus open challenge again. It ends up with Humberto Carrillo coming out again for the second week running. Interesting note, this week the title belt isn't on the line, so I don't know why Sheamus isn't sort of happy to defend the belt, but it just kind of ends up with giving Carrillo more offense than last week. I'm a fan of this. I think it's good to get him on TV. I'm not too sure where this is kind of going, though, but I'm interested to see next week. I think we'll decide if we're going to see this as maybe a long-term program. What was your thoughts on the match?
I said my feelings on this last week. I think it would have been better to have had someone else. Don't get me wrong, Carrillo, when he did that suicide dive, was amazing. Looked like he wiped Sheamus out completely. But
I would have preferred it to have been someone else, and then you could have had a multi-man match, man, to get some more people some screen time at Backlash. Because if not mistaken, if you'd have had Humberto Carrillo last week, Drew Gulak this week, Ricochet the following week, or whenever, then you could have had like a 4-way match, and it just would have got people like it would have made Sheamus look stronger defending against 4 people and retaining, because he weren't going to lose it. Let's be honest, because it's Sheamus. But it just would have made more sense. But don't say if it's just building to a story or a match for Humberto versus Sheamus at Backlash, then yeah, good on Humberto for getting some screen time.
Definitely going to go to a comment here. Got a good one from Dom. Thank you for comment, Dom. Lazy booking. Have a Carrillo come out again. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty lazy, but then it depends where they want to go. If they're going to do this again, for me, I did a video this week that's dropped thanks to your help, Steve, where I said that I think that Ricochet and Ali should be in this United States title division. They're far better talented wrestlers than Humberto Carrillo. So I think for me, they need to start making it a credible sort of champion, if that makes sense. Yeah. I've got a good one here from Steve as well. This is relevant, so I'll go to it. Thank you for comment, Steve. Rumors are plans change with the US title. Riddle's supposed to be going for a rematch. Plans change with RKBro. Yeah, quite possibly. I saw that Fightful Select dropped an article last week, I think sort of at the end of this week, where there was some sort of change where Randy Orton specifically wants to speak to Randy, specifically wants to work with Riddle rather. So that kind of makes sense. I'm going to quickly kind of go forward then. So obviously we then have this sort of Rhea Ripley backstage promo. It just basically ends up with her saying Charlotte's playing rugby. For me, didn't really do what it needed to. She's meant to be a heel. We're yet to see any sort of heel tendencies from her since she's won the belt. So for me, it was better than last time. She's not reading off a cue card. It wasn't as apparent as last time. But for me, where's the fire? Where's the anger? You know, where's this heel capacity? I haven't seen that from Rhea yet.
Yeah.
What did you take from it?
I think this is just a whole thing to get her at least working towards her mic skills a bit better, because she's not the best on mic.
Yeah,
it'd say this week was definitely a lot better than last week. So last week was like as if she was reading a cue card. It was bad last week, but yeah, she got better this week.
Definitely. Sort of moving forward then, we then obviously had this Riddle segment. So Riddle's obviously there. He's with his backstage segment. He says that Orton's a Viper, and he just kind of bigging it up. It kind of ends up with Riddle and Orton basically forming a tag team. And that just obviously kind of sets it up, if that makes sense. So it kind of sets up them teaming, basically. What did you think of the segment?
As soon as I saw this, I was so excited. I was like, yes, we are actually getting something that people want. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait for it, man. I was so I had slight doubts in my mind that at some point during this tag match, Randy was possibly going to turn his back on Riddle, but it ended up working out for the better, and they ended up just tagging normally. It was so good, man. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, no worries. I think it was obviously good. It was a great segment. I really like the sort of teasing the seriousness of Orton and the comedy from Riddle. I think it's great. This was a really good thing. Well done on Raw.
Randy seems to look like he's enjoying this, and that's when you get Randy Orton is excited and enthusiastic about it. You get good stuff, man. So if Randy's invested, this is going to be amazing.
Definitely. We then obviously had sort of a fun backstage segment. We got the trio of Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Reginald, the women's champions there. It ends up kind of them just going on about it. Obviously, Nia gets some flowers. It then ends up with kind of Angel Garza being there again this week. Interesting kind of segment. What did you make of Angel Garza there, second week running?
We're going to get an Angel Garza Reginald thing going on they're going to simp over Nia, man. This is going to be amazing. I want this.
Oh my God, 205 Live, isn't it? The main event of 205 Live, probably.
Yeah, man. Like I said, yeah, when I brought this up last week, just as a throw against the wall, it was just, and then they do it this week, and I'm like, yes, we're going to get Reginald versus Garza for Nia Jax's affection. This is going to be great.
Definitely. We then obviously had this chance for RKBro to make their first debut as a team. So they're facing the former Hurt Business. Really, really good match. Didn't really get very long, but crucially, RKBro got the win. Really, really good sort of team. I really like the Awesome Riddle team. I think it would look really, really good. Clearly, the end game with this, I think it's going to probably happen maybe for a few weeks or maybe up to a month or something, but we could see Randy Orton facing Riddle probably in a singles match down the line. But I like this storyline. I think it's going to be a good one. One of the best things to come out of Raw in a while. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, the match was really good. This is where my doubt crept in, because obviously normally Cedric and Shelton get jobber entrance where they don't get no music and whatever, they're just in the ring. And the fact that when they come back from commercial, you started Shelton and Cedric entering, I was like, oh no, we're gonna get like Riddle trying to go for the tag, and Randy's just going to drop off the apron and walk away and leave him to get his ass handed to him. But no, the burial of Cedric and Shelton firmly continues on Monday Night Raw.
It's a shame. I think they need to split. I think you could definitely. I'd love to see Cedric Alexander in that United States title division.
Yep, exactly. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately, because of Vince. He just doesn't like them, so they're just going to every week they're going to be in tag. They end up going to start losing to people like Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado. That's what I can see happening, and it's a shame, man.
Definitely going to go to the comments. Got a few ones here, good ones here. So, Cena Nation Dog, RKBro are the next Raw Tag Team Champions. I hope 100%. So. We haven't seen the Raw Tag Team Champions for 3 weeks. So, if they're going to be there every week, I'd be a fan of that.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what I want to see now. This is my investment on Monday Night Raw. If I'm going to watch Monday Night Raw now, it's for RKBro purposely.
Definitely. Good one here from Martin Carrillo. I saw the SmackDown promo for this week and during Raw. That got me excited. Then it went back to Raw. God bless us. Some glory. 100%. Like we were saying before we went on air, the contrast between SmackDown and Raw, it's like night and day. You know what I mean? Like SmackDown's an enjoyable experience, whereas Raw is sheer torture most of the point.
Yeah. It's amazing how you can have two variations in shows. Like, I don't understand it. I know obviously both shows have separate writing teams, but how you can have such a good SmackDown show and then I get it. The turnover time is only 3 days between SmackDown and Raw, so Vince doesn't have enough time to play with it compared to the turnover time between Raw and SmackDown. But the problem is if you start the week off bad, this will probably have a negative effect on NXT tomorrow as well. Because if today's bad, then most people who obviously don't read the dirt sheets and stuff like this are going to think, well, why am I going to bother watching NXT? It's just giving me the same rubbish that I've had the night before. And this is what irritates me about Monday Night Raw.
Definitely. Moving kind of forward, then we obviously had this 6-woman tag. So Asuka, Nia, Lana facing Rhea Ripley and the Women's Tag Team Champions. For me, it was a bit of a mess. There was loads of botches in this match. It didn't really kind of do much. We get the whole nonsense going on with sort of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke coming out. As always, they're just a distraction. And it just ends up kind of with sort of Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax getting kind of the win, really. For me, I'm not a fan of this. As I said, we had this problem with Asuka before, where she was the women's tag team champion or involved with the women's tag team championship. The problem with it is once you got the women's champion involved in these tag matches, it takes away from defending this belt on a singles capacity. What did you make of this six-woman tag even?
This was kind of like the 6-man earlier, like it was a tale of two halves, because before the commercial break, when you had obviously Nia slipping on the bucket of water.
That's so bad.
It's so painful, and I was like, my comments my notes are just full of expletives. Like you couldn't say them to a normal human being. But the second half, after the commercial break, it went back to just being a normal tag match, and it was all right. But it's exactly what you said, man. They've done this with Asuka for the last 6 months. They've had a part of a division that she doesn't need to be part of. This title needs to be. She's the top star of Raw. Why is she in part of this tag team division where? There was a promo earlier on with Nia. What did she say? Oh, Shayna turns around to Nia and says, the last thing we need is another distraction. And I thought, no, the last thing you need is another loss. Because that's all you do every week is just lose matches, man. It was so bad. But it's right. It was the right decision for the heels to go over because apparently Rhea is a heel. But it just irritates me, this women's division, unfortunately.
I'm with you, man. You look like this. Asuka beat Charlotte Flair back on April 19th. What was the point of her winning that to go back into a tag match? It's just one of them things where it's just not very good. I'm going to go to the comment here from Steve. Got a good one here from Steve from SCW. Just going to quickly kind of go to it here. Charlotte's definitely up to something. I get the feeling that Asuka is going to be written off TV because Asuka's getting dental surgery, be off for a few months. Sorry, that's Nuben Cole with the comment. Thank you for commenting, Noob. I agree with that. In terms of what you said about the Raw women's division, it's just a mess. The tag team division and the Raw women's title is all one. This was the point for me where you needed Natalya and Tamina to come out to attack Shayna and Nia. That's your singles match going into the pay-per-view, I believe. So this whole distraction with sort of Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, it's just a total waste of time, if that makes sense. Yeah,
exactly. And like I said, unfortunately, Rhea's been dragged into it. And it's like, Raw is your A show, man. This is what this show's been going for 25 plus years and stuff like this. And, it just irritates me, especially because Rhea's champ. And do you know what I mean? Rhea should be like main eventing and all this kind of stuff. And it's just irritating, man.
Brilliant. I'm going to go to the comments. Got quite a few here, so I'll just get to them now. Rated R for Wrestling Anthony. Good afternoon to you, Anthony. Thanks for checking the stream. Good point by Steve. Bad show sales the following show. 100% agree. It does make it bad. Going to the comments, I had quite a few people say this in the comments. I'm going to go to this. Talking to tag champs, where are the tag team champions? Third week running without the belt on being on TV. I don't know. The only thing I could presume is, as I said last week, is almost as an attraction, supposedly. I don't know whether it's something else, but the fact we've not even had a promo from them, even if they had COVID, you could get a promo. I remember when Drew had COVID for a week or whatever it was, he was still able to do a promo on his phone or whatever. Where are they? You know what I mean? It's a joke.
Yeah, AJ can cut a segment on his own. I'm not being funny. It's been what are we on the third Raw after Mania now? So it's been 3 weeks.
Why give him the belt? Why give him the belt if you're not going to have him defend it? This is exactly the same trouble we had on the sort of SmackDown Women's sort of titles as well. I think this is exactly the same issue. But
yeah, man.
Do you want to move forward, or have you got anything else you want to add before we get to Alexa Bliss?
I'm just trying to look. No, the only thing obviously was so you had the segment with Sonya.
Mandy Rose. That was interesting.
She's going to be Mandy's going to be her Charlotte's opponent because of her interference in the 6-women tags match, which obviously makes the match for later on. But yeah, see, Mandy's they're all, like Mandy and Dana. Obviously, Mandy and Sonya obviously have that connection from when they were a tag team, so their on-screen chemistry is really good.
Definitely. I've got a quick analysis on that. I think the thing is, I'm always getting the feelings of Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon. We could have that potential there with Sonya and Mandy still. I think that's something they really need to play up on. The only thing is she needs to drop this Dana Brooke thing. I think if it's just Mandy on her own and then facing Sonya sort of in some sort of capacity where she's been booked with the odds against her, it can make her definitely relevant.
Yeah, I mean, don't be wrong. Mandy, I'm all for Mandy, man. I'm all for Sonya as well, like when she was wrestling. But Mandy could be a top star. And it's just a shame that she's never won a title. And it's like she's been on Raw and SmackDown for years now, and I think she's probably had title opportunities, but she's never held a title. And it's like she's really good in ring, and it's just a shame. But yeah, like you said, if we got an Austin Vince out of this with Sonya and Mandy, that could be really good going forward.
Definitely. Going to move forward then with this. So obviously I had Alexa Bliss's Playground. This one was not particularly great. It just ends up getting sort of, it's almost like a hypnotic video, and then there's a jump out, which is designed for like a 2-year-old or something. It wasn't even kind of scary. Looking at this, for me, I'm not a fan of this. Ever since WrestleMania, they've dropped the ball with this. Even before WrestleMania, I wasn't a massive fan of the whole Alexa Bliss thing. She's a great performer. She's doing the best she can with it, but there's a couple of holes with this. Where the hell is Bray Wyatt? He's been missing for 2 weeks. Where's The Fiend? He's not there. Where's the answer to WrestleMania? That's still not been cleared up. We're 3 weeks on to all that exactly same thing. And the biggest travesty in all this is Alexa Bliss that's only had kind of 3 matches since the Royal Rumble, 2 matches since the Royal Rumble. While this nonsense is going on, she's not even in the ring. She's a great female wrestler. You know what I mean? I just think, what are they doing with Alexa Bliss? The longer this goes on, for me, I'm just getting really annoyed of it. What do you think?
Bliss, when she first come on the scene, was OP as anything. Like, she got booked strong. Like, she was Raw champ, SmackDown champ, Raw champ, SmackDown champ, multiple times. And yeah, this is maybe next week, obviously, because she now states that, well, she stated in the promo that, now it's my time. But this whole Lily thing, Lily made me do it. And it's like, what is this imaginary friend thing?
How's it going to play out?
It's like what 5-year-olds do with imaginary friends. It's like, I didn't do it. Such and such told me to do it. My imaginary friend. Oh, man. And then she tries to treat Lily like it's the Candy Man. And if you say her name 3 times, she appears in your mirror. Oh, man, it's just bad. Just get her in the ring, man.
I think what's making me more angry is this Lily's getting more airtime than Nikki Cross and people like that. And you've released people like Peyton Royce as well for this Lily nonsense. It's just one of them things. So do we see Lily next week becoming an actual wrestler? Because obviously the way I'm understanding it is she'll be talking about this Lily. Next thing you know, behind her that should be somebody probably on the seat rather than this toy that looks like it's something from Rosie and Jim or some nonsense, or a ragdoll or something like that.
I reckon it's just going to be screwy finishes, like DQ finishes constantly and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be the doll's going to sit in the corner underneath the turnbuckle while Alexa wrestles, and it's going to get to a point where Lily's forcing her to do these like evil things, and it's going to be, oh, Lily told me to do it. It's, oh my God.
The last thing I'm going to say, the only way I could see it being any good is, do you remember Al Snow in the head? The head was fantastic. Yes, with Al Snow directions.
He used to hit people with it. Yeah, it was
exactly.
great.
Perhaps she can hit Lily with hit people with Lily, or perhaps Lily can do stuff. But
hit you with
for me, I've not got any confidence in this. I just hope this leads to Alexa going back in the kind of women's division, really. Have you got anything else you add before we move forward?
Nah, move on, please, quickly, man.
Definitely. Obviously, we then had this match. It was Mandy Rose, Charlotte Flair. Yeah, really, really good. They didn't get too long, but crucially, Charlotte went over. This was the right move. And there were teases, obviously, of her turning on the referee. Didn't kind of happen. So I thought this was the right move. Charlotte has to get momentum back after losing to Asuka previously. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, it was a really, really good match, man. I say this was one of the highlights of the show. This because, so Charlotte, like the whole story, because obviously Eddie was the ref from the apology earlier on, and the building of like how Charlotte nearly wiped him out when he was in the corner, and then she said he was too slow to count, and then Mandy almost picking up the win. This was really, really good. I found it really entertaining. And Charlotte, at the minute, for me, can do no wrong. And it's amazing because leading up to Mania, all everyone was going on about is Charlotte being shoved down our throats too much. But she's the best character. She's one of the best characters on Raw. And yeah, like I said, now she's not doing the woos. She's not doing the flare dance, the strut. Sorry, I'm all for Charlotte, man. I'm actually, like I said, she should have been in the main of. She should have been in that Raw title picture at Mania. It would have made the match better. And it's like, I can't believe I'm saying this about Charlotte Flair. I was one of them people. I was like, Charlotte's being shoved down my throat too much. This is why we don't want her on TV. But the problem is, she's the best thing on TV. She's the best thing on Raw.
Yeah, she is. They're just going to quickly go to the comments. We've got quite a few here. SCW The Wrestling Channel, thank you for your comment. I wonder if younger fans enjoy this Alexa Lee stuff. Personally, I find it difficult to watch. Please be about the goddess. I'm just trying to put myself in them type of shoes. I remember when I was 92, 93, I was about probably 7 or 8. I remember Papa Shango. Yes, I was interested in that. It used to scare the crap out of me. But for me, I just think you've got to doing this, but then they're swearing throughout the show. Is it designed for a 5-year-old kid? Like, you wouldn't want a 5-year-old kid to swear, surely. So why would you have swearing but then have this nonsense? It doesn't really stack up to me.
But I get one of them strong feelings. It's like just a simple merch ploy, like, oh, you can buy your own Lily doll now. That's what I got a feeling it's going to be, and it's just going to be badly made toys and cuddly toys and all that kind of stuff just for kids to buy. And it's like, oh man, it's so bad.
Definitely. Going to quickly go to another one. We've got another one here. Sinesh Dog, thanks for your comment. Jonesy Church Wrestling, you should name the cringe scare because it was not scary. Alexa Bliss cringe is a scary person. She should be the goddess again. 100% agree. She was better at a past gimmick. Definitely. Got a good one here from Dom Mills. Thanks for your comment, Dom. Is Lily going to be Alexa's tag team partner like House on his head, as we said earlier? I believe so. I don't know how that's going to work. I'd only be a fan of it if it gets Nikki Cross or somebody the role on TV, but I don't know how to explain that.
Do you reckon we could get Nikki Cross as Lily?
Yeah, how did I explain that though? But they've not explained anything. Because they don't explain anything. Perhaps they could do that.
Dijakovic and Dio Madden, a T-Bar and Mace, man. Come on, man. We could get Nikki Cross as a Lily, possibly as it could be. I don't know. It'd be something interesting.
Yeah, it would. But it gets her. They need to get Nikki Cross back on camera, so yeah, I'd be a fan of that definitely. I'm going to go to this one here. SCW Wrestling Channel. Steve is spot on. Charlotte Flair's undervalued. People only appreciate when she's retired. I agree with that 100%.
That's what I said. Yeah, you need to keep her away from her dad. Stop putting her in storylines like she was with Lacey Evans. This is why people were irritated with her. You put her in a storyline with her dad, and it's like, separate them. They're two different people. Charlotte Flair is her own person. No more woos, no more strut. Just be Charlotte Flair, man.
Definitely. Going to go to this kind of main event then. This is obviously a first time, I believe, in ever they've had this match. So Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. The winner, obviously, if Braun wins, he'll get added to the main event at WrestleMania Backlash. This was actually a really, really good match. I felt it was pretty good. It was great until we had kind of running centrals. So we had Lashley get involved. It ends up looking like Drew's going to hit the Claymore. And then from nowhere, we get Mason T-Bar involved again. It ends up with kind of Drew getting pinned, which ends up Strowman getting a win. That's a big win for Strowman over Drew, considering his hijinks against Shane at WrestleMania and stuff. For me, this is kind of where I've got a slight problem with it. The finish was so screwy. What was the whole point of Mason T-Bar running in? They're meant to be there to do Bobby's work, supposedly, and none of this is adding up. This is the trouble with this. It doesn't. They're missing points.
I do not get where this story's going. This is literally as soon as you had Bobby trying to interfere to get Drew to win. I got that.
So it's a singles match instead of a triple threat match. Yeah.
Which is good because it plays off the whole fact that obviously Bobby lost the US Championship match in a triple threat without him taking the pin. So this was good because obviously he does the promo earlier in the night and he was like, oh, triple threat, blah, blah, blah. And it was fine. But why is Mason T-Bar coming out to get Braun the win? I was so confused. I was like, what's going on? Who's booking this, man? Who's trying? I don't understand. Oh man, my brain is frazzled from trying to think it because everyone's so obviously just overthinking what is this story about, and I bet it's something so simple that it's so terrible that just no one
makes sense. They can't make none of it will make sense. There's no real thought through going into it. But for me,
why? I just don't understand why T-Bar and Mace. Why?
This is the trouble. You don't see them for weeks, and they're on the show continually, like week on week, which is. I guess you've got to rebuild them. But for me, this is where I kind of have one last problem. This is the third Braun Strowman match on the show, and you've got people such as Ricochet and other people that are not even on the show, and they've released a load of people like Samoa Joe, and they're just doing this kind of crap. It's just one of them things where I get it. This is your main title picture going into the pay-per-view on the Raw side, but It was a clever move to add Braun. I'll give him that. It was good. But for me, the only reason why I think they may have interfered is to try and make the loss look a bit more like a fluke, if that makes sense. Have you got anything else you had before we score the show?
Oh, God, no, move on, please, quickly. As soon as I can stop thinking about that main event, the quicker.
I'm going to go to the last. I've got a last comment here on it, which is quite relevant. So I'll go to it. Don Mills. Well, does that mean Mason T-Bar not working for the Hurt Business?
Playing back to what you said last week, it might be someone else. It might be someone else. There wouldn't be. They're not.
Should be. I'm not being. If they were doing a story like that, they should be hinting in this week. They should be saying we're not reporting to MVP, and there should be slight hints of what's happening on. I think they've dropped it. I think it was a storyline for 1 week.
But then this separates the fact that Mason T-Bar aren't working for Hurt Business, so they've got to be working for someone else.
Yeah, they have. And
what's their reasons? They're not in the title frame. They're not going to be competing for this. So someone else must be paying them to do this. But who?
The last thing I've got to add as well, before we kind of score the show as well with this, is the fact that there was a lack of reaction from sort of MVP and Bobby. They weren't upset. I'm not being rude. If I was Bobby, I'd be angry. MVP should have been angry. You know what I mean? The odds are against him at sort of WrestleMania Backlash. But for me, it makes it interesting. It's a triple threat. Go on, Steve.
No, just because obviously like this, but then again, like I said, this contradicts the promo earlier on, because if Bobby doesn't want to be in a triple threat match, why have Mason T-Bar attack Drew so Braun gets the win and it's now a triple threat? Do you know what I mean? There's so many conflicting things going on with it. Just no one knows. It's
just the same thing every week. As I said, going to go to the comment here. This is a great one from Steve. I'm pretty sure he's correct. Guess we have another handicap match next week. Drew versus Mason T-Bar again. It'll probably open up Raw yet again.
Another tag. No, yeah, and it would just end up in another tag match and it'll be another DQ finish. Yeah.
Perhaps they'll involve Bobby Lashley. Perhaps they'll tag him with Drew or something. I don't know. Something stupid. Got a good one here from Martin Carrillo. What's up with Drew Reese? He doesn't look like Drew as a champion. He's lost all credibility since he lost at WrestleMania. He's been pushed down everybody's throat too much. He's on far too many angles of the show. And that's no fault of his own.
Yeah, he's becoming John Cena. You know how that everyone went for the fact that everyone hates John Cena because he was being pushed down throats. It's just a shame with Drew because you're getting the same thing. He's still doing the same 5 moves like Cena would do in a match, and it's just a shame because he's just been forced down the throats.
Definitely. Last one here. I've got Don Mills, Mustafa Ali being the leader. Imagine
who's that?
Mustafa, who's that?
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I can't see it. I think he's wherever the 24/7 title is.
Now that obviously the other two have gone to SmackDown, it's not going to be Ali. No way. Because what's Ali going to do? Ali going to get a match against who? If Ali was to get a title match against either of them three, just not believable at all. He would never win it.
Not. Definitely not. Going to go to the score then of the show before we get this final story of the show out. So score it out of 10. I'll let you go first, Steve. What would you score the show out of 10? I
was going to give it 3, but I'm giving it 4 just for the fact we got RKBro.
Okay, 4 out of 10. I'm gonna go 3 out of 10. I think it RKBro was fun, but for me it just was painful watching it for large parts. We got through the first kind of hour and a half, 2 hours. I just could not believe there was so much left. I'm really hoping they pick it up. I hope this isn't a WrestleMania sort of splurge where it's gone kind of down the product.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I wasn't coming on here with you to do this review, I would have stuck to the YouTube clips because I think I would have that would have probably been like insufferable, man. Yeah, this was just a bad episode of Raw.
I think we're getting used to it. The problem is it's how they go out. It's how they improve. We've got to hope it kind of improves. But for me, I think the main thing that's letting them down, my observation of it, is they're not following up with any storylines properly. There's no continuity. Like we saw that thing at WrestleMania with Alexa Bliss. They didn't follow up properly. We saw this thing with Mason T-Bar going on with supposedly who's hired him. It's not followed up properly at all, really. You know what I mean? I can go on and on. There's so many examples like that where we're hoping they're going to do something with it and they just don't, unfortunately.
It's fine. NXT's on tomorrow and SmackDown's on Friday.
NXT's tonight, isn't it? NXT's tonight, pal.
Tonight, sorry, yeah, because yeah,
no,
no, I don't review it till tomorrow, but yeah.
No, you don't. Yeah. What, are you watching it live?
I don't know yet because I've got an engineer coming around tomorrow, so who knows?
Okay, fair play. Gonna go to the comments here. We've got a good one here from Martin Carrillo. Why can't WWE book baby faces that are smart? They get so distracted.
I think the fact with that is just the fact that. I don't think there's such a thing as a baby face anymore because people are cheering the heels. They've been doing it for years now, ever since Austin, really, because Austin was the first one that was like the heel that got cheered before he became a natural baby face. And yeah, it's that generation of wrestling, unfortunately, where baby faces just can't be baby faces anymore. And so, and they have to play them stupid because the heels have to be the ingenious villains and stuff like that. Man, it's just mad.
Definitely going to go to the final news story then of the show today. So got an update regarding Becky Lynch. So obviously Becky Lynch was meant to be coming back at WrestleMania. I have heard that apparently the plan for that was WWE have got a tank supposedly. Apparently she was scheduled to come in during that segment where we had the Bellas basically attack Bayley. She was going to come in on the tank apparently, but they vetoed it because of the rain delay on night one. They run out of time, so because of the run out of time, they kind of cancelled it. Apparently, Becky Lynch has said that she's not going to be appearing at the Thunderdome anytime soon. She wants to wait till the fans come back, so that's further delayed her kind of return. Are you surprised by that?
I wouldn't have seen the point of her coming back at Mania. Like I said, it would have been nice to just have her an appearance by her.
Yeah, exactly what she said.
In front of fans, but. Yeah, you won't get her until fans are back. It's just thinking about it as well. You're probably not going to get a lot of NXT call-ups until fans are back because you need the fans. Well, no, not really, because they're pumping the audio. So you could do an NXT.
They want to be back with the fans. I agree with it. It was a good idea not to put her out there because if you put her out there and she's not actually back properly, they were going to do like a soft kind of return for her. But they might as well hold out.
You need a full capacity, especially for Becky Lynch. Yeah, it needs to be packed to the rafters.
100%. Got one last thing for you, Steve, just before we end the show tonight. I need a prediction from you. SmackDown this coming Saturday. It'll be shown Saturday here. I would say Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Who's going to win and how they're going to get themselves out of this? It's pretty obvious who's going to win, I think. But.
Yeah, obviously Roman's going to win because there ain't no way Daniel's doing it. I don't know. I don't know what. I know obviously Daniel's sort of winding down his career now, but and I know he tends to be involved with a lot of the backstage booking and stuff, but Daniel leaving is like, what's he going to do? Is he now going to become like a main event?
He's in the crazy team already, isn't it, apparently?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is he going to become a WrestleMania attraction? Like, is he going to be the reason why to tune into Mania next year? Because he'll have a match with someone? I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be the end because I can't see Daniel winning. If Cesaro's the next top guy to next like sort of babyface to take on Roman, unfortunately, it's going to be bye Daniel.
We know people come back though, even when they're retired. They come back.
Obviously, it's WWE. Then they you're quitting the company. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We get, for example, this week Charlotte comes back the following week because Sonya's reinstated her. So you never know, that might happen. He might turn up next week. He might be he might be the solitary paying fan, like he's got the only one that's bought a ticket to the show and he'll be sitting ringside.
For me, if I was booking it, this is what I would do. You obviously can't pin Roman Reigns. You know that you can't pin Roman Reigns. So for me, what you need to do is both of them get taken out by Edge. I think Edge needs to come back. They need to start this Edge versus Daniel Bryan program before Daniel Bryan goes. So for me, I'd have Edge come out. He could take out both. He could attack sort of Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan obviously wins by DQ. You then obviously have him. You can have him attack Roman as well if you want. And it's just kind of one of the things. I think the thing is with it is it'll be a shame to see Daniel Bryan go at this point because I think he's got a lot more to offer. I think even if his appearances are limited. Yeah.
Unless Cesaro takes him on as an independent contractor and has him as a manager.
Oh, maybe. You never know that. I got a good one here from Don Mills. He's going to go to Raw. Yeah, I don't know how they put that. I guess he can maybe sort of go to Raw.
Maybe.
People can go from NXT to WWE like sort of willy-nilly, it seems.
But then what's Daniel going to... If Daniel was to go to Raw, what's he going to do? It's the same
thing.
Lost
in the 3 hours, won't he? Show. Yeah. He'll get added to the Braun Strowman stuff and that lot.
No, he'll be part of the Miz thing.
Oh, God. That'd be horrendous, actually, to be fair. I think that's a perfect point to kind of end the show. Have you got anything else you had before we end the show today?
No, just to say I'm doing the NXT review tomorrow, so make sure to check that out. Hopefully I'll drop that tomorrow afternoon, just depending as and when I can record, because unfortunately I've got an engineer coming tomorrow that was supposed to be here in January, but obviously because of restrictions, they're only turning up tomorrow. So yeah, at some point tomorrow I will be doing the NXT review on this channel.
Look forward to checking it out. So, Steve, listen, I want to thank you so much for doing the show. Thank you all for joining and watching us. I hope you have yourself a great rest of the week. Enjoy NXT if you're going to tune into it. Be well, stay safe. Thank you for all the support. And obviously, please hit the thumbs up on the way out. I really appreciate that. That's it from us here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for the comments. They've been great. And as always, please subscribe if you haven't. But this has been Jonesy Chats Wrestling. I've been George, joined by Steve. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching.